All right, everybody. Y'all know who it is, Metro Meta, and
at one Marcus Flowers.
And we'd like to thank you for watching and listening to our content. We'd like to thank you even more if you leave a like, a comment,
subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We need that. Subscribe, subscription.
Hey, don't forget to share with all your friends and tell us how you feel.
And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you got it from 26 and Glencoe Media Network.
Keep it real.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Marcus Flowers, a.k.a. Flo, a.k.a. Call Me What You Want, just don't call me lazy, and I am joined by none other than...
Y'all know who it is, Metro Meta, he who shall not be named.
And we are here for Volume 4, Episode 34 or 35 of the Super Flow Bro podcast. Before we really get in, how have things... It's been almost a month since we've recorded. How have things been for you in the past month?
Pretty good. I'm just now realizing that I made like a brand new intro, and I don't think I've used it in a video yet. So I gotta get some content so I can use it in there.
Right. Well, what does the intro entail?
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Okay. Anything else new with you?
Not really.
Okay.
Chilling.
Cool.
Chilling.
Yeah, this month has been very hectic for myself. Just wedding planning has been more hectic than I originally thought. So trying to take my time and enjoy the process while also trying to make sure that everything is at least perfect, and listening to my future wife and her dictating terms of everything and trying to kind of ease my opinion in here and there.
I don't think we announced that you were getting married on the pod.
I think I said it last pod, but so before we really jump in, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Just laid back, just relax.
True. Good to chill. Did you have a large family gathering?
No.
Well, there is one person who he didn't have a large family gathering, but he flew to his family. Could you click on that link for me?
The lovable and beloved Denver Mayor Michael Hancock, friend of the show, not friend of Mr. Flowers.
Let's not say friend of the show. So before we begin, before we really dive into this, one thing that I'm waiting on for Michael Hancock is for him to... I'm a big professional wrestling fan, so I'm waiting for Michael Hancock to finally do his heel turn. Of course, if you've been listening to the Super Flow Bro since day one, if you go back and you listen to the first ever episode on the 26 and Glencoe Media Network, that's kind of what prompted me to talk about just like podcasts, is the dishonor that I felt for Mayor Michael Hancock.
Dishonor
just because he cheated on his wife.
Dishonor is playing it down. You straight up spent like a half an hour trash talking him in that first podcast.
Yeah. So that was that was the 26 and Glencoe launching point. And from there, we've occasionally gone back to Hancock just because we're based out of Denver, so we see a lot of his news and a lot of his moves. And his most recent move was, so the day before Thanksgiving, Mayor Hancock, like many other official leaders throughout the nation, told the United States, told Denver to be wary and to not travel. And I pulled it up. He said he posted a picture on his social media accounts, and it says, "Happy Thanksgiving. Pass the potatoes, not the COVID. Here's how. Stay home as much as you can. Avoid travel at risk for COVID. Stay home and stay in touch with friends and family by phone or online. Shop and eat locally. Host virtual gatherings." Now, on Wednesday, Mayor Hancock did a press conference saying, yo, stay home, stay inside, be safe, eat locally. And then immediately after that press conference, my man went to the airport, flew to Texas, then drove from Texas to Mississippi to spend Thanksgiving with his family. Now, as a person who has been traveling throughout the pandemic, like I've literally, the longest I've stayed home was probably between March and July, but between then, like I flew right at the beginning of March, and then I did a cross-country road trip back to Colorado, then I flew back down south, and then I flew to the south in October, and then to Arizona in October, and I have a few trips planned for this month. But as a person who has flown frequently throughout the pandemic, that's a risk that you just have to be willing to take. Like, you are putting yourself at risk, and you have to be willing to say, you know what, I may catch the coronavirus, I may be sick, and I get where Mayor Hancock is coming from, but this is the problem, because I'm guilty of it. Well, I'm not guilty of this. Mayor Hancock says, hey, don't travel, online gatherings, and then he traveled to a gathering. Me, when I'm not traveling, I criticize people who are outside, who are at Skate City, who were at Vibes at the Park, who were at large gatherings, and saying, oh, y'all should be safe, we in a whole pandemic, and they're like, oh, blah, 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 but you've been traveling. And I'm like, yeah, but I quarantine. And so, but he made a statement with 9 News, and he says, it was unwise, it was hypocritical, it was a mistake that I deeply regret and deeply apologize for. How do you feel about this, Morgan?
He probably gonna do it again.
Yeah, no. I will say that. I also will say that, yeah, no, he's definitely... And another thing that I just definitely don't like with Hancock, even with my criticism of him, I've assassinated his character because he cheated on his wife. Like, he went outside of his marriage for pleasure, and then when he got caught, he went on a whole apology tour. I even went to like an awards banquet, and he was talking about the importance of family and how he's a Denver kid and being raised on the block in the neighborhood. And it's like, I get that, but when he cheated on his wife, and like, I don't care, like, I don't want to say I don't care, but when you're talking about like developers and real estate and gentrification is happening throughout the United States. Like, you can't really deny it. Like, it's the same everywhere. It's happening in all big cities. It's happening in small towns. It's happening everywhere. Like, so gentrification is a huge issue, and Mayor Hancock, he is a part of the problem somewhat, but I'm not putting the blame all on him. If there's one thing that I do not like, it's how people have assassinated his character for some of the moves he's making. They're like, he's a coward, he's a loser, he's this, he's that. And it's like, I get your anger, but at the end, and that's kind of like, that's been my issue with social media over this pandemic. Just like, people are saying wild things that they would never say to people in their face. Like, it's cool for you to call mayor, it's cool for you to get on a Facebook Live and call the mayor of one of the biggest cities in the world a coward because he didn't want to meet with you for your issue involving your community. And I get you, like, that's cool if you want to call him a coward, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you want to meet with this man, he doesn't need to meet with you. And he is, and I get it, like, he is your mayor, but at the same time, respect goes both ways. Like, you can't call this man a coward and then expect him to meet with you. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you're going with that, but overall, it's just like bad optics. But we've been seeing this with a lot of our governors and mayors. They just end up, I don't know, they just don't care. They just really don't care. Let's go to the next one. I'm interested to this. So, Warner Brothers says that for the next year, the year starting 2021, starting with Wonder Woman on Christmas Day, all of their movies will be released in theaters and on HBO Max. The schedule that is online now has Matrix 4, Tom and Jerry, Space Jam 2, and Dune. How do you feel about this, Marcus?
I think this will be the final blow to theaters.
Yeah.
I think this is like, okay, and we've already seen it with Disney Plus and Mulan, and probably Disney Plus is going to put Black Widow on Disney Plus. And so I think the great thing about this is that the difference between HBO Max and Disney Plus is that Disney Plus charged subscribers $30 more to watch Mulan, while HBO Max is already there. If you are a subscriber already, you're going to be able to watch those movies immediately. And I'm really excited to see how they work with Wonder Woman on December 25th. When that releases straight to HBO Max, I want to see, just because like this was always going to happen, pandemic or not. Like this was always like, of course, even with like AMC and them having the Regal cards where you can see a limited amount of movies a year, movies a month. Like it was a subscription based service,
like Movie Pass.
Yeah, and no, it was like Movie Pass, and so I think this is just the next step in that, and it's studios and its corporations cutting out the middleman, which is unfortunately theaters. And when we're talking about that, and I can't really see HBO Max or just Warner Brothers getting out of theaters completely, but I do see this trend going to go up. And even I think I talked about it a few pods ago, just how theaters are going to have their own theater instead of distributing it to like a Harkins or AMC or to a Regal. They're going to do it directly. They're going to just rent out. Like it's going to be like a big event. If outside ever opens back up, it's going to be like a big event where it's like, yo, you have to be at this theater for this. It's a limited time showing, but here's the opportunity. If you don't want to go to the theater, you can see this online already.
Yeah, I definitely see there's going to be a change in theaters in general. Like, there's still people, I still hear people say stuff like they still like the theater experience. Maybe it's just because I've never been much of like a film person. Like even now I'm realizing I don't watch that many movies. I watch more TV. But like I'm kind of fine with watching most of these movies on my like computer screen. Like I don't truly need to have like a huge screen to see it on.
Well, and not only that, it's just that their computer screen is the same like resolution as a theater screen. So it's really like having a theater on your person. And so that's why it's like, okay, we can do this and you don't even have to like leave the comfort of your home. Instead of having to drive like 15 or 30 minutes to a particular theater, walk into the theater with the sticky floors, buy overpriced popcorn, when you can basically have a home theater in your house. So, but yeah, this probably is the last blow for movies, for the movie theater, and we're going to see more of this even with like NBC and Peacock, and of course with Netflix even raising their prices. And I may cancel my Netflix because
I use Netflix all the time
because
TV.
Netflix is getting rid of The Office, and
Who
that's
cares?
the main reason
Who
why I
cares?
watch Netflix. So I will definitely be ending my Netflix subscription, because why do I have to pay for Netflix? I know plenty of people who have a Netflix, and I can just use their account.
No, I like Netflix, and The Office is trash. So, a little sidebar on the HBO Max deal. If you were planning on watching Wonder Woman 1984 it comes out Christmas Day, right? 25th?
Yes.
It will not be available for the free trial users, so you do have to pay for it. Which, I get why they did that. I see why. Because there's definitely a trend of people who just sign up for stuff, watch what they want, and leave. So this is one way to force people to just stay. Because that is what they're trying to do. And there have been some reports that they're struggling with retention, but that is, hopefully with this new lineup they can get things going. Because it has a lot of good programming on it.
Yeah, and I also think with what HBO Max is doing is... they're trying to maximize their work, and it's just like in their content, and it's just like, okay, you see Wonder Woman 1984. Here's also a bunch of DC movies that you can also see with our subscription. You can also watch like some of our favorite shows like The Undoing and Insecure, and even if you want to watch Game of Thrones, you can watch that as well.
They also have a lot of good like Cartoon Network content. Like they have
right,
all of Ben 10. They got they have a new Adventure Time show which is focusing on Princess Bubblegum and Marley.
Okay, all right, Queen. But enough of that. We are not a HBO Max platform, so we are not talking about them that much.
I'm just saying.
No. But moving on. So, Songstress creator Teyana Taylor confirms comments about her retirement. I don't want to do this anymore. So, when the Grammy nominations came out, best R&B album, it was only male nominated artists. And so Teyana Taylor was like, who released a project, Kalani released a project, Summer Walker released a project, and none of those artists were nominated. And so,
I mean, even The Weeknd wasn't nominated.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. But so Teyana Taylor just said, hey, it's very sexist that I'm not being recognized. And if you guys know just like the backstory of Teyana Taylor and just her musical career, like it took forever to get her first her debut project out through Good Music, and then her second project, which came out last year with Kanye West, and it was like a fumble, and it wasn't really her vision. And so with this album, it was really putting her best foot forward. It was her vision, it was her work ethic, and it was a great project. And she's just like, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not getting the respect I deserve. And this is what happens with just like a lot of artists. Have you noticed that even with just like, I don't know, just like Wale, of course Teyana, of course Young Thug for a second went through that. Andre 3000 refuses to put out a solo project. Jay Electronica, even with like Jay-Z and his disrespect and him threatening to retire. So this happens with artists. Can you scroll down real quick? And when it happens with artists, it I don't want to say it sucks for the fans, but we are really losing. We are really using a true artist. And so this is one of her part of the quote. She said, "The crazy part about it is I asked Def Jam to drop me almost on 10 different occasions, straight to their face, up in the building at the table." And she said, "Yo, just drop me because at this point I can't let this kill me." And that also goes into like the process when it comes to like your creator, and just like when you create content and people don't respect your work or your output or your work ethic or how you're thinking outside of the box. And sometimes like it eats at you, and it even sometimes slowly kills you. And it's like, yo, you always have to make sure that you're putting your mental health first before the product, before the content, because if you're not in a good space, the content that you create won't be in a good space either. It could be a masterpiece, but if the content you create comes from an area where you're not where you don't feel the strongest or the freshest mentally, and you need a break, it's going to hurt you. And I'll even bring up a situation just like last year when my father died, and then a few months later when my aunt died. It was just like I wasn't in a bad place, but it was like, yo, I don't know if I can continue to do this, just because my mind wasn't on like content creation. And the crazy thing is, that's like outside of podcasting, like content creation, content curation, that's like my real job. And so I was basically just going through the motions and just like the motions and the emotion wasn't there and just like the ambition wasn't there. And I didn't realize it. And even just like with the podcasting, like I was here and I was doing the work, but it wasn't the best content that I could have put out. And even just like
my question thing is, like, she's not. There are so many artists who come out of the music industry and just say it's awful. And there's bad things about like pretty much every creative industry. But the amount of horror stories we hear about the music industry really has me questioning that industry specifically. Because like even artists like Zendaya, who was like on the Disney track to be a singer, like Miley Cyrus, like Selena Gomez, she specifically said that she didn't want to be part of that industry, and that industry is super toxic. And so I wonder what is it? Is it just that the people and the, because like I mean rappers all the time talk about like, oh, we don't have any friends and this industry like is awful, but like it seems like it's not just a rap. Like, it seems like it's everyone.
Well, just when it comes to just like the music industry in general, just from what I know about it, it is like putting your best foot forward, and it's the relationships. And sometimes the best work doesn't get recognized because you don't have the best relationships, and so that can gnaw at you just as like an artist, as a creator, that just gets to your mind. So
yeah,
that's definitely why. But overall, we do want to send our thoughts out to Teyana Taylor. We will miss your musical catalog. We will miss you creating music. You've made really great music throughout the years. So just keep your head up if you listen to this. Next up, so switching gears real quick. Morgan, I was talking to you about it because you weren't watching it. You were watching the highlights. Mike Tyson versus the Roy Jones. And of course the Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fight ended in a draw, but it wasn't the blockbuster fight. The blockbuster fight was Jake Paul versus three-time slam dunk champion, former NBA professional basketball player, Nate Hold That Robinson. Now, Nate Robinson, you know, I will say this about Nate Robinson. If he woke up, I feel like he said he has trained boxer in his bio, but his fight was anything but trained boxer. If you saw it, it was about 2 rounds, and it took like eight punches to get Nate out of here. If you've been on the internet in the past week, you may have saw Nate Robinson on the floor somewhere. He could have been laying on the ground with Simba on top of him crying. He could have been laying on a bed. He could have been planking somewhere. But one of the beautiful highlights of the show was Snoop Dogg's commentary of the fight. And Snoop Dogg, who is a serial entrepreneur, he has his hands in literally everything from, of course, music to esports to fashion to businesses, investments. So, and now he is teaming up with Triller, the same company that streamed the Roy Jones Mike Tyson fight, and he will be starting a celebrity boxing league.
So, who do you want to see first?
Before that, did you know Celebrity Deathmatch?
No.
Do you remember that show?
No.
So basically, according to Sportsnet, Snoop Dogg will be partnering with Triller. The social video platform, Sportsnet reported that Snoop Dogg and Triller will look to replicate the success of Tyson vs. Jones, which claimed it sold over 1.2 million pay-per-views by matching celebrities, musicians, social media stars, and athletes from other sports inside the square circle. The Fight Club will also see Triller to continue to feature musical acts between bouts. Snoop Dogg's league will be a separate entity from Tyson's Legends Only League, which is the banner Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fought under. Triller plans to continue Tyson's league, focusing on largely veteran or retired stars from boxing. I feel like
Oh, I thought it was like regular celebrities.
No, it will be. I feel like it will. I feel like this is a good thing, but boxing, you have to train for it.
I mean, yeah, but come on.
Like,
it's fun.
We saw with Nate Robinson, who went up against Jake Paul, who Jake Paul is a trained boxer who has literally been in the boxing gym for the past few years. We see what happens when a person who thinks, oh, I'm an athlete, let me just hop in and do this. We see what happens when you fight a real fighter. And my worry is if you put two people who aren't necessarily good fighters, who are good boxers, somebody could potentially get very hurt.
I mean, yeah, but like, I also just want to see rich people fight each other. I do not cry over the rich people wanting to fight each other for our enjoyment. You know what? I don't. It's about time. Put him in the ring. Go full Roman.
Right. And next, more fighting news. So Jake Paul is doing a victory lap of his knockout of Nate Robinson. He is currently on. He was on Stunner for Vegas's new video called Play You Lay, and it basically was Jake Paul beating people up, having them be asleep with Stunner for Vegas. He also was in a video with Charlotte rapper DaBaby, and it was just them looking at people laying on the floor like, dang, you did all this? And Jake was like, yeah. And next up, we're going to talk about this real quick. Floyd Mayweather. He's back in the spotlight again. So Floyd Mayweather, undefeated boxer. He's either 50-0 or 51-0. He will be facing Logan Paul. And Morgan, are you familiar with Logan Paul? He is, remind me if I'm wrong, Logan Paul is the YouTuber who posted the dead bodies in Japan, right?
Oh, yeah. He's fighting Logan? Man, I don't care no more. I want to see him fight Jake.
Yeah, so Logan Paul is the famous YouTuber who posted a video in Japan of dead bodies, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna be dead next or something, I forgot. But Floyd Mayweather says super exhibition. It has to be a super exhibition. He said February 20th, 2021. Early bird special on sale now. So if there's one thing that I have noticed about Floyd Mayweather, it's this: he is an attention whore.
Well, yeah. If you want attention, the Paul brothers are where you go.
So he loves the spotlight, even at his age. He loves being in the limelight. And he even said he didn't really beat Conor McGregor. So he could further this thing. He could further his celebrity boxing match. So I will say this, Morgan. Do you think this hurts Floyd's legacy when he starts boxing people who are clearly underclassed than him?
It's kind of murky. The Paul brothers, they're not like traditional boxers, but they do train. They're still like good boxers, and they bring in a lot of money. So I get why they're doing it. I would say if I was their mom though, I'd be concerned. Like if I don't want my child to be a boxer. Like that's gonna be upsetting, and for both my children to get involved in it and then just start going up against people like Floyd Mayweather,
who's an Olympic boxer at that, who literally represented the United States of America and got a bronze medal, and then after that he did not lose since that. He did not lose going professional. So yes, last thing, will you be watching this?
Oh no.
See, so I'm blessed to have such a great group of friends. Because I remember when Mayweather was fighting Conor McGregor, I was in downtown Denver, and it was like midday. I went to like a brunch party. I went to a day party after that, and then I was like, oh, so where are we watching the fight at? and everybody was like, we're not watching the fight. So I went to Churchill's, which is a cigar lounge in Denver, in downtown Denver, and I was like, hey, y'all doing the Mayweather fight? And they said, nah, we're not. And I was like, oh, snap, I got to find it somewhere. So I hit my friends in the group chat and said, hey, guys, anybody getting a fight tonight, let me know. And this was at a time where I didn't have a car. So I was downtown and I was drunk. So I hopped on the A train and was like, hopefully somebody gives me some moves as I'm going home. So I get off at the 40th and Tower stop. And one of my good friends hit me and said, yo, my father is watching the fight. He already ordered it come through. And I said, say less. And I went to the house and I got to watch the Mayweather fight for free. But yeah, so shout out to them for that. I will always respect their father for that. But yeah, so I'm definitely going to be watching this. I'm not going to pay for it. But I will be seeing this for sure.
Twitter is free. I don't need to see it.
All right. Next up, Sports Illustrated Persons of the Year. Of course, so it's LeBron James, who is the first three-time Sports Illustrated Person of the Year. Breonna Stewart, Patrick Mahomes, Naomi, the tennis player.
I can't pronounce.
Scroll up because her name's right there. Down. LeBron James, Breonna Stewart, Patrick Mahomes, Naomi Osaka, and Laurent Duvernay Tardif were champions on the field, champions for others off of it. One thing I will say is kind of glaring that they didn't highlight some of the other players who made an impact, such as George Hill of the Milwaukee Bucks, or the whole entire Milwaukee Bucks basketball team for threatening to pull out of the NBA bubble. Colin Kaepernick, of course, and everything. He really laid the groundwork for a lot of this. Lewis Hamilton as well. Bubba Wallace could have been one as well. So
Bubba Wallace would have been a good one.
So yeah, no, it really SI tried to do the right thing, but I just feel like they left out a few people who deserved it more than LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes.
I also feel like because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, I feel like they could have just done 10 or just more people. Just
because 2020 has just been a phenomenal year when it comes to the activist athlete and athletes really taking control of their destiny, of their narrative, and saying, yo, what's happening outside should not negate what we do on the court or on the field should not negate what's happening. Should not negate what's happening outside of the field.
So, moving on to strange news.
It's not strange. The House of Representatives passes marijuana legalization bill.
Now, doesn't this also have to go to the Senate as well?
Yeah, and I will say this is just a natural progression when you get younger people in Congress, such as your AOCs and your Corey. Well, she isn't in yet, but just those squad members, and just you typically have a younger demographic in Congress, and I think we're going to be seeing more of this. Just moving on in years forward. The key is the Senate, which is probably more than likely going to shoot this down because the average age of the United States Senate is 56 or 65. I could be, but it's an older number. And so I think we're going to be seeing more of this just moving on, especially if the Democratic Party keeps control of the House, or even if they get control of the Senate. If the Democrats get control of the Senate, we could be, a year from now, just talking about how legalization of marijuana is happening now. So who really knows what's going to happen? But I think we're just going to be seeing more of this moving on. Just because when you tend to have younger people in office who are not who aren't trust fund babies, who really grew up, who saw what happens when some people smoke, and it's okay, they're not a savage.
Well, I think the other difference is are the younger generations, when you talk about the older ones, like our parents and the older congressmen, those are generations who grew up under Reagan, who was just trying to enforce racist policies without any rhyme or reason. And so he just pinned drugs as a huge problem. And he vilified them. Like, we all, like, there's all those old TV shows, like in the Cosbys, where they just had somebody come in with drugs and their lives are completely destroyed. And so they're just trained to see them as, like, alien, awful things that will destroy your life. And so a younger generation that doesn't have that brainwashing is just going to come in and solve that problem.
Right. No, definitely. Moving on, we're in COVID news now. Carl Anthony Towns tells of how he lost 7 family members due to COVID-19, including his mother. So our hearts go out to Kat, and how just is like, this virus is very real, and it's like, I know how over it that we are. It's just like, if we would have, like, it gets upsetting when I know we didn't do the right thing. It's just like, when I see people out at like clubs and like,
why would you ever even want to go to a club?
And it's like, or even like for brunch parties, and it's like, yo, the reason why like the economy isn't even back up, why a lot of people can't even go back to work, is because people are dying. And it's like, when people die, like, you have to have somebody to replace them. And people are very hesitant to go out into public. And it's like, okay, I don't want to go out because this could be my last time out. And even just like dealing with COVID, it's like, it sounds like super scary to deal with.
I can't believe there's still people out here who just don't even... That are just like... You had that one news story about that couple who tested positive for COVID and then got on a plane. What is wrong with you?
Right. But no, once again, prayers up to Carl Anthony Towns, to his family and all that. And more COVID news. COVID may cause erectile dysfunction. So
this disease just seems like it's built to take out everything America loves.
So not only do you have to deal with breathing,
taste,
chest pains, taste, headaches, headache fogs, memory loss, you now will maybe have to deal with erectile dysfunction.
This thing really just came out of nowhere. And
Doctor,
check all the boxes.
Dr. Dina Grayson says there is a real concern COVID-19 could cause long-term issues of erectile dysfunction among men. The coronavirus is known to cause issues of vasculature, Grayson said, and she warned. Oh, go up. She warned there could be more long-term negative consequences or infection, including neurological complications. And this comes as the U.S. reported 11,000 new cases and 2,445 new deaths.
So, yay. Winning.
So yeah,
aren't you, this is the last year of Trump's presidency. Are you tired of winning yet?
I am not. But we're going to talk about Trump a little bit more just after our next story. So Rudy Giuliani.
Dirty Rudy.
Click on that. Rudy Giuliani, who has been jet setting across the United States, fighting these bogus claims about voter fraud and just like voter and stealing the vote. Who has been traveling to battleground states, has been in courts, has been around a lot of people. He has tested positive for the coronavirus, and we got this news from President Donald Trump.
Did he tweet it? Please tell me he tweeted it.
Yes, he tweeted it. He said, "Get better soon, Rudy. We will carry on." A few hours after Trump shared the news, so hold up. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let's just go to Twitter.
Don't you just love it? Wouldn't you just love it if your boss sent out a tweet just being like, "Hey man, get better."
And before me, and Rudy G said, "Thank you to all my friends and followers for all the prayers and kind wishes. I'm getting great care and feeling good, recovering quickly and keeping up with everything." And so it really it doesn't. What angers me about people like Rudy Giuliani, Ben Carson, Donald Trump is that once they catch the coronavirus, they immediately get the care that many others have waited for and don't get, so they die. And it's just like, okay, what makes their life more important than my life? Especially with like a person like Trump or Giuliani or even Carson, who's in their late 70s, and it's just like, okay, you've done, like, you've lived your life. Like, why can't a person who is like 20 or 30 have access to the same medical procedures that you've had? And it really like concerns me with Representative Cori Bush, who's out of St. Louis, and she said she had coronavirus and she begged her friend not to call the ambulance because she wasn't sure she could be able to afford it. And it's just like, there's two different realities that we're in. Like, we're in like Trump's reality and we're in the reality of the rest of America.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, this is America. Don't catch you slipping in it. Speaking of Trump,
Donald Trump's media future. So I will say, when it comes to Donald Trump and his political aspirations, I could see him running again, but what I don't see is him taking it as serious as he took this election. I feel like he knows where his voice is the strongest, which is through media, and we've seen that through decades, even like through his Apprentice. We've seen how he has a voice, whether you like it or not. He has a large enough platform wherever he's out. And so I could even see Trump, and even if you guys have been watching his Facebook, his Twitter feed, and he's like attacking the Republican Party, and it's like, yo, he's attacking his own party. And so,
but Trump, they should have seen that coming. He's thrown everybody who was ever with him under the bus. So now he's throwing the party under the bus, and they should have been ready for this.
And so with that, I could definitely seeing Trump starting his own, not even a podcast, but his own media network, where it's like not even Conan or Newsmax. It's just like Trump News Network, just like RT with Russian TV. It's going to be Trump News Network, where it's all things Trump. It's like him pumping how his thoughts and his issues, and having his pundits and his followers talking directly to people, and it's just like cutting out the middleman. And I think that is one thing that Trump does not like to do. If you've noticed with like Trump and his business career, just like he doesn't really go outside of his family. It literally falls all on him. He may get money from other people, but his leads are always his family and it's himself. And so if he's able to cut out the middleman, which would be the Republicans, which would be Fox News, which would be those people who are talking about him, and he can have that direct response to people, I could definitely see him say, you know what, I don't need y'all. This is my direct approach. So I could definitely see him having like a YouTube and having a podcast. Not even a podcast, because I don't think he'd be able to sit around for that long. Or maybe he could. But having like a YouTube, or even just
drop a comedy album. Just be a comedian. That's what he should have did.
So, but we will see. We'll see. And lastly, we just wanted to end on a lighter note because it was pretty heavy. So the robot kitchen that will make you dinner and wash up too. Morgan, are you familiar with the Disney movie Smart House?
Yeah.
So, get that in real life now. Now, let's ask an important question. Do you think this robot seasons his food?
No. You see the white on its hands? It doesn't season it.
So finally, the ultimate kitchen gadget you never knew you wanted is here, but it will cost you about the same as the average house in the United Kingdom. For those stumped about where to buy the super rich person in their lives this Christmas, how about a fully robotic kitchen that promises to whip up a choices up to 5,000 recipes at a press of a button. A London-based robotics company on Sunday unveiled the world's first robot kitchen with its promises to cook from scratch and even clean up afterwards without complaint. The Molly kitchen robot, brainchild of Russian mathematician and computer scientist Mark Olenek, promises to make the restaurant standard meals without its owner having to lift a finger. A takeaway. It's not cheap though. The robot will cost a minimum of 248 to 100,000 pounds, roughly the same as the average house in the UK.
Not bad.
So, yes, will you be trying to get a robot kitchen?
I'd want one. I don't like cooking.
So I would not want that just because with a lot of like home cooked food, you want it to taste like home, and I feel like a robot won't be able to give it that home feel, like the extra pinch of salt or the extra pinch of vinegar. Like, it just won't be there.
Nah, cook my food like a dystopia.
All right. Well, this will also poison you. So, so if it's worth it. So the robots are already here. They're already, Boston Dynamics is already kicking it up. We have the traveling soldiers.
Look, I played Horizon Zero Dawn. I know what's happening.
So, it's about to be a wrap for the human race.
Hey, man. It's been real out here.
Yeah, it has been. But, good podcast, man. We did it.
All right.
But yeah, do you have anything to add?
Attack on Titan just dropped and Sky High is on Disney Plus. So there y'all go.
Yeah, make sure we have another Chop It Up coming out this week. It is with Janae Brown of Brown to Perfection Marketing. Of course, we have a Dust Off dropping this week as well. And if you're listening to this, Dust Off's out as well, so make sure you listen to that. We have a special content series coming out over the winter break, just because it's the holidays. We want to spend time with our family, and we don't really want to be a podcast, so we have some special content that we are creating just for y'all over the holidays, and we hope it helps. It's about one of the biggest shows that have been streamed this year. So, but once again, follow me on all social media platforms another thing. We have a versus.
No, I don't.
We have a new versus.
No, I don't.
December, we do. It's Ashanti versus Keisha Cole. But we have a versus at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. It will be myself versus Metro Meta, December 18th, 8 p.m., Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's going to be a battle. Make sure you look out for that. So, but once again, follow me on all social media platforms. At Flow My Hero, follow Metro Meta at Metro Meta 26. Follow the brand everywhere at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Make sure you're following us on YouTube. We're really trying to get those numbers up. So make sure you follow us on that. And until next time, peace.
All right.
All right, everybody. Y'all know who it is, Metro Meta and at One Marcus Flowers. And we'd like to thank you for watching and listening to our content. We'd like to thank you even more if you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We need that. Subscribe, subscription. And don't forget to share with all your friends and tell us how you feel. And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you got it from 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Keep it real.